to be the case. The evidence for it is somewhat less strong. We know, for example, that criminals have greater fertility than non-criminals. And we know that across the world, moral character is strongest in the European and Northeast Asian peoples than it is in the rest of the world. This is found in the corruption index, an index constructed by some people which provides a measure for the level of corruption in all countries in the world. This shows that corruption is quite low in Europe and in Northeast Asia, and much higher in the rest of the world. So the same thing is happening for moral character as is happening for intelligence. So I will not repeat the points I made with regard to intelligence for moral character. Now, eugenics is the solution, or proposed, to dysgenics. Dysgenics really comes first, that is the problem. Eugenics is the solution. And so Galton argued, well, we're in a situation of genetic decline, and we must try to correct this. And for this he proposed the word eugenics in 1883. And he spent the last 28 years or so of his life trying to formulate policies that would have eugenic effects. And this was taken up in the first decade of the 20th century by many thinking people, virtually all thinking people, as Robert Feinberg reminded us in the first presentation this morning. Virtually all thinking people in the first decade of the 20th century thought Galton's analysis was correct. And the solutions he proposed of trying to correct this was also correct. And various measures were taken to attempt to correct this. The first of these, well, Francis Galton in formulating policies for eugenics distinguished between negative eugenics and positive eugenics. Positive eugenics consists of programs designed to persuade intelligent people to have more children. And negative eugenics consists of programs designed to persuade less intelligent people and people of weaker moral character to have fewer children. That is the general framework for eugenic policies. And as I was observing, many people thought this was sensible and tried to formulate actual policies that would have these effects. The positive eugenics policies consisted of financial incentives for intelligent and young people and those of sound moral character to have children, to better their lives so they could afford to have more children. This was taken up by Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore, the Prime Minister for many years, who was the only prominent politician in the second half of the 20th century who was greatly concerned with this problem and articulated his concern. And he introduced various financial incentives for graduates to have more children or to have some children without having very much effect. The most promising development of positive eugenics, which lies in the future rather than the present, is that of embryo selection. This procedure consists of a couple producing a number of embryos as they are produced for IVF, in vitro fertilization. And these embryos can be assessed for their genetic qualities. And those that are deemed the most desirable embryo of the number that are grown is selected and implanted. This technology is carried out at the moment for, certainly in Britain and possibly here and elsewhere, to select girls rather than boys when the couple are likely to have a child with a sex-linked genetic disorder which appears only in males. The most well-known and commonest of which is a defect of blood clotting, which you die if not treated, haemophilia. In these circumstances in Britain, a couple can have the process carried out and a female is implanted. However, this is not permitted for any other reasons. You're not allowed to use this procedure if you just happen to want a girl or want a boy. This is perhaps rather curious for those of us who believe we live in a free society where people should be allowed to choose what course of action they like, as long as this does not cause social damage. So some may say, well, if people want a girl or a boy, why shouldn't they be allowed to have one? Doesn't seem anything wrong with that. No special reason why to suppose that this will cause any social harm. Most people would like to have 2 children, one of each sex. So if they have a boy and want a girl, the next one, well, why not? Anyhow, however, it is illegal in Britain and throughout Europe, and I should imagine in the United States. In the future, this will probably become available to assess these embryos genetically, not merely for their sex, but for their intelligence and their moral character. As the genes for these become identified, as inevitably they will, these embryos will be assessed for their intelligence and their moral character and perhaps for other things. So then the doctor will say to the couple, well, here are the printouts of all these embryos, which one do you want us to implant? Most people would like to have intelligent children and children of sound moral character. So this will inevitably come to be used, and this will have, if it's used on a large scale, a very considerable eugenic effect. Most couples produce children with a wide range of intelligence, as is known from everyday experience. Siblings are not all that closely similar for intelligence. In many cases, one sibling will have a high intelligence and one a substantially lower intelligence. So if couples are able to implant the ones with high intelligence, well, then the IQ of the population will increase considerably. This will probably be taken up initially only by small numbers of people, as is the case with any new technological invention. Initially it's taken up by a few who could afford